Hello, how are you all doing tonight? Once again, it is late. I like that this is kind of the time period that I'm doing these. I enjoy doing them after everybody in the apartment has gone to sleep. It just makes it so much easier for me to relax and not think about somebody potentially wanting me to do something. So I thoroughly enjoy the time slot that I have picked. I think if I were to stream like video games, like for my friends and stuff, I think I would probably do it around this time. So if there are any night owls, this is probably when I would do it. I mean, I feel like a lot of people already do it at night, but I mean, if it's just for my people, then then we can do it. We can do it late at night, or we can do it during the day. Anytime, really. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. Let's see. How are you all doing this evening or whenever you stumble upon this video? I hope you're all doing well, as I always am hoping. It's something that I'm always hoping for you guys. I hope you had a day full of moments where you noticed things, where you were aware of things. I find that at the end of my days, it's a really good time to reflect. And this is something that I feel like a lot of people do they'll do it when it comes to like anxiety. So they'll think about, well, all of the things that I did wrong and what could I have done right and how did I mess this up and did I embarrass myself in this conversation, or is everybody gonna remember this bad thing that happened? But really, even when you have good days, if you do like a little debrief session, so really YouTube is actually helping me right now because these videos have been so cathartic. They've been so healing for me as I've been doing them. So as I am vulnerable about things happening in my life, as I am receiving, any kind of messages to give to you all, which hasn't happened a whole lot. I really do feel like this is one of those situations where I'm doing this is to help me. And again, maybe to help somebody in the future, but at least right now in time, this is for me. This is acting as like a vlog, I guess, like a video journal of where I'm at right now. So today was an interesting day. Today is Sunday, and I actually attended a Christmas concert with my sister and some of our friends and some family, and it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope to actually be out there in the cool weather, and I had my little leopard print tracksuit on, which I find incredibly comfortable. And we were there just talking and laughing and having a good time. And something that I realized was that my anxiety, like the amount of years that I didn't work on figuring out a way to, I guess, to alleviate the anxiety. There are so many moments of joy that I missed out on because, like, anxiety, I think they said anxiety is fear of the future. It's a fear of things that could happen. It's not even stuff that has happened or is happening. And today, being at peace and just really enjoying being outdoors and looking around and seeing all these people and seeing all their dogs and then listening to the music and just talking with, the people that I went with and having a good time. It was so nice to be in that moment and to not be thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow or or not even think about what was going to happen after that. It was just nice to be there in that moment that I was in. And the music was fucking great. It was all of the stuff like the Nutcracker stuff, right? Like the ballet. Very amazing. I love the music. It's so great. And I love concerts. I've actually never been to a concert where I bought tickets and it's a concert that I want to enjoy. Like, I saw that Tyler the Creator is actually going to be in Orlando in March 2025. And I could get there. I just meant, like, growing up, it's really interesting when you grow up in families where certain things are priorities and others are not. So like for my family, playing sports wasn't a priority. It was the arts, you know, it wasn't computers and, you know, science. It was like the arts, and then it was like education. So it was like everybody had to go to college, which that did not 100% happen. I mean, people are kind of sort of doing it now, so I guess, you know, I guess. But we were very artsy. So like I sing. I started singing when I was about 2 years old, and song has always been in my blood. That's why for so long I felt like being a musician, being a vocalist was my calling. For many, many years, I wrote my own songs, I wrote my own lyrics, I wrote my own sound, and I really wanted to get out there. And I tried all kinds of things. Like I spoke in another video about how I auditioned for American Idol, not once actually, but twice. The second time, I was actually asked, one of the TV execs commented not commented, one of the executives or like producers for the show contacted a family member of mine who actually works within entertainment, and he was like, they asked, do you know anybody who sings who can come audition? And he contacted me and was like, you should definitely do it. And I did it, and it was an underwhelming experience, if I'm being honest with you. A lot of the mystique of those shows have gone away for me as a person who has auditioned for stuff like that. And really, how they get you, it's the contracts. The contracts get you, because you'll read all of this stuff that's going down. It's like, oh, like if you leave the show as one of the top 4 contestants, you know, some contracts will lock you in and say, well, anything that you create that you start to sell, like, we have a right to. And I just think that's garbage. As a person who's worked in entertainment and who got my master's in business entertainment, man, the amount of people, I'm so proud of those of you who are artists who are doing the independent thing, because it's just so much, you have so much more creative control, and you're not getting the absolute soul sucked out of you to do projects and stuff that you don't want to do unless you've chosen, unless you're like, listen, I need to make money, I need to like bust out like a radio friendly jam ASAP, you know. But you're not gonna fucking, you know, have to sell every last thing that you have, and then you're still like locked into this, you know, really awful situation if you're doing it independent. Now, I know that there are some like music companies that are coming out. Apparently there's some new music companies that are coming out for musicians and artists, and they're claiming like, we're gonna be better with ethics and stuff, so just be safe out there, guys. And for those of you who are artists, you're artsy people, you sing, or you know, perform, you act, you dance, you do anything like that, I think that's super cool. And I think you should post videos on it. I'm a big proponent these days of everybody posting videos. And at one point, I had a thought. And the thought was, well, if I keep telling everybody that they should be posting videos and they should really put themselves out there, like, aren't my videos, isn't that going to even further hurt the possibility that these videos actually get out to people who could actually use them and benefit from them? And the answer I received within my gut was no, because there's more than enough room for everybody. Not everybody wants the same thing. Not everybody wants to experience the same thing or even create the same thing. If you're working really from your gut, if you're working from where your passion is, we don't all want to show up the same way in the world. We all have a different reason for showing up the way that we show up. And if you're a musician and you're thinking, man, like the industry, whatever industry, acting, singing, producing, dancing, you know, animation, if you're thinking the market's so saturated, how am I going to get in? And 919, as I'm saying this, 919, I've been seeing that so much today. 909 and 919 I've been seeing everywhere, and that represents the closing of chapters, like the ending of something. So I'm not sure exactly what's ending. I know for me, my hope is that it's a cycle. My hope is that it's a cycle that I've been doing for many, many years, or quite a few cycles. I have like 3 or 4 really unhealthy cycles that I do. And they've kept me in a place where I have been afraid, and I've doubted myself, and I've doubted my skills, and I've lived a lot of days anxious and stressed and overcumbered and pissed. And the hope is that as I am on this path that I've chosen for myself, that those things are alleviated. And so far they are. So far I'm really enjoying the process of getting up every day. And currently right now, I am playing every day. Like when I come in here to do these videos, this is playtime for me. Like I come in here and I speak what is on my soul, what is on my mind, you know. And sometimes I have these long moments of silence, and sometimes I've got a lot of stuff going on in my head. And it's really cool that I actually can do that right now. That's really dope. I like it. I like this period of time. I'm not sure where I'm headed, but I really like this period of time that I'm in right now. Yeah, I can't remember why I was talking about the artsy stuff, but it's funny because like when I was a kid growing up, I learned to play by ear. So I play kind of like beginner's level piano by ear. I play kind of beginner drums. I actually did have a couple of lessons, but then my teacher got back together with his band and he was like, "Sorry, kiddo, I'm hitting the streets." I was like, "Mr. Dubois, the fuck am I supposed to do?" And then they just never replaced the drum teacher. But I wanted to play drums. I wanted to play bass. The instrument that I ended up falling in love with actually my senior year of college, I'm so mad that I didn't discover it before, was the harp. I actually love playing the harp. The harp is an absolutely beautiful instrument. And for those of you who don't know, there are a lot of types of harp, but there are two main types of standing harps. In the standing harps, you have the pedal harp, which is the really big one that you typically see in orchestra performances, and that's the one where it has little pedals like on a piano on the bottom, and those are really big. And then you have the lever harps, or as some people pronounce it, lever harps. And those harps are harps where at the top where all the strings are, it's a bunch of little levers that you like pull down in order for the sound or the keys to change. Amazing. I remember I had my first harp lesson, and then my harp teacher was like, "Oh yeah, like you have access to the harp room whenever now because you're one of the students." So I would go up there after class and I would lose hours sitting at that thing. That is something that is a plan. I'm going to definitely have a harp made. I know they're expensive. It's gonna be fucking worth it. I would love to have a harp. That is a super passion of mine. There are a couple harpists that I don't necessarily follow super hard, but I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy their content on YouTube. And I can't remember their names, or I would mention them and I would put them in the description because I'm always trying to hype up people and pages that I know. My hope is that if I share all my special interests with everybody, then everybody will know a little bit about something that I know about, and then, you know, we can talk and hang out. But yeah, so the concert was really, really fun. I had a good time being out there in nature and really just being in the present moment. And then I realized how many people benefit from, like, how many companies benefit from us not being in the present moment. So, like, think about it. Like, the idea of you always need to be stressed, you always need to be planning, means that there are so many companies that benefit from that, you know? And I don't know many people who know how to sit in the moment. Like, I'm surprised. For years, people were telling me, you know, just live in the moment, slow down, smell the roses. And my entire life, I don't think I've known anybody who really does that. Everybody that I know, I mean, there may be like one or two people that I'm forgetting, but most people that I meet, you know, kind of in my day-to-day life, they are rushing constantly. They're constantly in rush mode where it's about, well, what's happening today? What's happening tomorrow? And where did this cut come from? Like, my wrist is cut. I don't know how that happened. I am the type of person who pops up with mysterious cuts, and I don't know that they're there until I'm either taking a shower and the soap hits it, or I'm washing my hands in the sink. And then that's when I find out that I've done some type of damage to my body. That's another thing. Rushing. Not being in the moment. The amount of times that I have dropped something and either hurt myself or broken something because I was rushing, it's intense. So if anybody watching this, if you know in your spirit of spirits that you rush, slow down. I don't think human beings were meant to rush. I don't think we were meant to be constantly, stressed. I mean, we can't be, right? Because scientifically, I think they discovered that, and again, I would look up articles and stuff like this, but because I'm using the very thing I would do that with to record these videos, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel like pulling out my laptop. That's a whole big thing. But there are studies that have been done that show that stress takes years off of your life. So if you're spending every day of your life stressed and worried and you don't slow down ever, you're not taking your time, you're not doing some deep breathing. I'm surprised at all of the health benefits that you can get walking and deep breathing. And I'm talking like seriously deep breathing. And for years I was told by people who I used to go to the gym with, I have these random times in the year where I'm very into being in the gym. Like this year, I was on a roll. I would go to the gym, I would be there for about an hour and a half, and I would do serious work. I would focus on various things, and then I would go to Planet Smoothie, and I would get any type of shake, and I would have like the protein, the whey protein in there. I would put spinach in there, I put ginger in there, like health nut. Like I was definitely, I was in there, I was in the gym, and I was taking pictures all the time, like, look at these fucking gains. Like I was very into it. But then, because of the nature of finances, something that is interesting is when you don't have a lot of finances, and you're focused on trying to get bills paid, something that tends to go by the wayside is eating. And I would I would motivate anybody watching this video. You should probably go drink some water. In fact, I'm going to make myself a committee of one, and I'm going to drink some of this water right now. I'm really trying to get my water intake every day because it's really good for your skin. It helps you but it helps with the elasticity in your skin. And it's also really just great for your whole body. It just flushes your whole body. It's such a nice experience. But, yeah, in the past we haven't had a lot of finances, or we've had finances and they've had to go to a number of other things. And so there wasn't food in the house for real. So I would go work out, and then my body was like eating itself because it's like, okay, yeah, we're starving. What happened? Like we literally worked up a sweat. We're ready to go. So then I started being sick all the time, and I was like, what's going on? I'm working out. The one meal I do have a day, like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours after I work out, is greens and protein and rice. What the fuck is going on? Bro, if you're going to work out, you have to eat. Within an hour, I think it's within an hour of working out, you should be eating something or having like a protein shake or like a protein bar or something that's gonna put something in your body because your body needs the replenishment. So you definitely want to make sure that you do that. But yeah, I don't know why I started talking about working out. This is what happens when I don't have anybody to bounce back off of. Like I spend so much time just kind of like kind of spinning the drain of my own thoughts, if you will. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of interesting in here. Like a lot of the things that I talk about are things that I think about all the time. Like I've been thinking for years about why boarding a plane is the process that it is, because I hate it. So when I buy plane tickets or other people buy plane tickets for me to travel, I am usually in one of the last zones to board the plane, and the whole boarding process takes forever. And it not only takes forever boarding, it takes forever deboarding. And I complained at some point, and I told somebody, I was like, why don't we just board from back to front? Like, why don't we do that? Or why is there not? And apparently they've tried. If you find the article that talks about this, please put it below, because I never remember this when I'm free and looking for articles to read. I like reading articles. I'm big into psych. I'm big into articles on games, that talk about like new games that are coming out and things like that. I don't read a lot of them, but I try to make sure I find time in my schedule to read things because reading is fundamental, my friend. Is this upside down? I don't know, it's good. It's fine. We're good. But yeah. I don't think I finished what I was saying earlier, but like at the end of my day, I debrief, and these videos have become so much fun for me. Like I'm very much so into playing in my life right now. Like I like playing, I like having a good time. If that's with other people and like playing video games or going out, you know, and going to the park and playing hide and go seek. I freaking love hide and go seek. This is one of the reasons I love spending time with my nieces, because all of my nieces are under the age of 10. And we all just, whenever I am there, my inner child is unlocked. I love spending time with children because children see the world in such a different way. Like, my inner child is really running the show at this point in my life. So there are a lot of times where things will happen and she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, but we have to. And she's like, why? Like, that's her big thing. Why? Why do you have to do that? Why? Why? Like, that's always her question. And I used to get really irritated by it. And now I'm like, yeah. Fucking why, bro? Like, what's the actual reason? Like, so much of what we do is because society said that's how we should do it, not because we have to. So, like, I can't think of an example, but it's been nice. It's been nice letting my inner child drive. She's far more gentle and compassionate with me than I've ever been with myself. I've always been a really hard person on myself. It's like, you didn't do that perfectly, you didn't do that right, you could have did this faster, you could have had better form, it could have been more efficient. But then my inner child, she's just like, yeah, like, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Actually, what is it? It's oh, I can't remember. But shoulda, woulda, coulda is so big. It's just such a big thing. It's like we could do shoulda, woulda, coulda till the cows come home. We really can. But what time does that save, you know? So let's see. What else has happened in my life as of late? I'm in a holding pattern. Or not a holding pattern, because that makes it sound like I'm not doing anything. But I'm definitely realizing how hard it is to sit back and do nothing. That shit is hard. So for the collective individuals who have run into their cycle breaking time and 22 minutes and 22 seconds as I'm saying this, those of you who you've reached the point in your cycle where you're meeting that challenge and you're like, okay, I've met the challenge. Right now, you are to celebrate and pat yourself on the back for that. You're not to immediately try to go find more work to do. Don't avoid this rest. Allow yourself to rest, because your season of doing things is coming. Your season of being busy is coming. There's always stuff to do. Your inbox can always be full. Don't worry. There's more than enough shit out here for you to do. Take the time to relax when you have it. So if you're watching my video and you find that you have 5 minutes to just sit down and breathe, then do that. Actually, let's breathe right now. I've been wanting to breathe. I was going to do it at the beginning of the video, but again, unless I am expressly moved, I do not plan these videos. It's funny, I'll come up with like 30 or 40 ideas throughout the day, but I don't write them down. I try not to think on them too long, because I want to just come in here and sit and then turn it on and just fly. Go. Make it happen. Okay. So, let's breathe in. Hold it, and let's breathe out. Hold it, breathe in. Hold it, and breathe out. Now keep breathing in and out. And as you breathe in and out, I would like to move you to bring attention to your toes. Bring attention to the soles of your feet. Bring attention to your ankles. Bring your attention to your calves and your shins. To your knees, the front and the back, your thighs, your waist, your lower back, your stomach, your chest, your fingers, your hands, your wrists. Wrists are so thin. My wrists are really thin. Your forearms, your elbows, your triceps and biceps, your shoulders, your whole back. Like, stretch that out a little bit. I find that these types of things are really fun to do. Ooh, there's something that I can share with you all. So, being a workhorse, which is what I was raised to be, my dad actually worked in HR growing up. And for those of you that don't know, that's human resources. And human resources is the backbone to any company. A lot of companies, human resources is responsible for a lot. And it's important to have a good human resources department so that a company runs effectively and well. Because there are humans who are in this company. So there should be resources for those humans. Ah, my ears are popping. Ooh. So I have always been it's part of the reason I've never had trouble, before COVID, why I never had trouble finding a job. Because I was literally raised by a man who would interview every day. He knew all of the secrets to resume writing at the time. He knew the secrets to getting people in, like what you needed to wear for interviews, how you needed to talk for interviews, blardy blardy blar. All of that, right? All of that bullshit. And so for me, I was always very this is how you do things. I had an interview, and this was after I had started my spiritual journey and I had stopped applying to jobs because I was moved to not apply. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. How am I supposed to find a job if I'm not applying? And my spirit and my spiritual team were like, listen to what the fuck we said. And I was like, okay. So I stopped applying. And after 2 weeks of no longer applying to jobs and just relaxing and focusing on my spiritual practice, kind of meditating throughout the day, really focusing on eating well, my mental health, my spiritual health, all that good stuff, my physical health, I got an interview. Somebody contacted me and I was to have an interview on site, and I was really excited because I've always said I shine in interviews that are in person because you can shake the person's hand, you can talk to them, you can get a feel and a read for, how they feel and what they're talking about when it comes to the company and everything. Whereas when you're on Zoom, it's a lot easier to dismiss people based off of little things that they mess up on in an interview. Whereas when you're in person, you're paying more attention to the energy in the room and the person and everything. So I was preparing for this interview. It was an advisory position for students, and I had my master's. I had just graduated with my master's. I was like, I'm a shoo-in. I'm very excited. So I go to this. I'm prepping for this interview, and when I looked, they had the dress code was business casual. And my spiritual team guided me to wear some really kooky stuff that wasn't business casual. And I was freaking out because I was like, I've never gone into a professional setting and not worn business casual. And they were like, well, you're going to wear this. And the day of the interview, I was moved to meditate. I was moved to light some incense. I was moved to do all kinds of little kooky, crazy things that just kind of came to mind. And then when I looked it up afterwards, it was like, oh yeah, this is a ritual for X, Y, and Z. I was like, okay, that's really cool. So I go to this interview, and while I'm there, while I'm walking in, my team was like, so we're training you out of this bad habit you have of rehearsing things. I was like, well, why are we training me out of rehearsing things? And they said, the reason why we're doing this is because a part of your anxiety, and somebody here may be dealing with this, a part of anxiety is constantly rehearsing and trying to plan answers and actions in situations where we feel like we have no control. And I've been doing that my entire life because I've been very uncomfortable with social interaction. I've been very uncomfortable with not having an answer, and I do believe that I process a bit slower. Again, no diagnosis to, say anything definitive, but I have my moments, I have my little things, and so I'm constantly, I grew up learning to rehearse things so that when I got into a situation, I could literally just use the script that had a bunch of different, little branches of dialogue that I could use while I was out. Come to find out, quite a few people do that. And I was like, yes, I'm not the only weirdo out here. But during this interview, I was to only say what I was moved to say. And that shit was weird because as I was in the interview, there were a lot of silent moments where I was thinking about the question and I wasn't rushing to answer. And I felt far more in control of the interview doing it that way, which was weird. And then I actually stopped. The whole reason I started talking about this was because I stopped when they were like, okay, well, that part of the interview is over. We're about to transition into giving you a tour of the workspace that you would be working in. They were like, is that okay? I was like, yeah. And actually, can we just sit here and can we breathe with each other for like a couple of minutes? It was 3 people that were interviewing me. And they were like, oh, yeah. And like they put their phones down, they put their phones on do not disturb, and they kind of sat there and we all got situated, and I was like, okay, so just breathe in with me and breathe out and breathe in with me and breathe out. And I'm not at like, this is not like a school that's like, oh, we do stuff like that. So I did that and it felt weird to do and it felt awkward, but then after I got done, I was like, how is that? How did that feel? And they were like, that was incredible. And one of the ladies said that she did not realize that she hadn't slowed down at all. Like my interview was like at 3:30 p.m. and she had been up and moving since 7 a.m. and she had not rested. And I was like, yeah, that's a lot of us. A lot of us are out here constantly running. I mean, think about it. How many of you, and I mean, hey, you can say in the comments if this is your experience and it's something that you're tired of, which is you're working, you have to pee, or you're hungry and you're like, well, I'll just finish this one thing. And then it's 4 hours later, you're starving and your bladder's like, I'm giving up on both of us because you just don't fucking care. So yeah, I think it's important to take time for yourself. I think it's important to breathe. So taking even just a couple of seconds to notice your body and notice how it feels, I think is good to do and is healthy. So yeah. And then after the concert, went and hung out a little bit, chilled out pretty late, watched some Rick and Morty. That show is so funny to me. The show is so funny. It's like a lot of the comedy that's in there is my favorite comedy. Like one of my favorite things is the little lips that they be doing. They be doing the I love that face. I make that face all the damn time. It makes me laugh. But yeah. So I think that's pretty much how my day went. And then I got back here and organized myself. I'm so excited. I have leftover Chipotle for lunch tomorrow. It's going to be amazing. I like how Chipotle tried to say, oh yeah, we didn't cut back on the amount of food we were putting in your bowls. Bullshit. Because I remember when they were overflowing my shit. And I was like, yes, this is amazing. And then I went back at some point and they're like, here you go. And I was like, what is this? What is this, please, sir? Can I have some more bullshit? Like, I'm not having this. You better load up the double rice. Load up the double chicken. Like, what? I did not come here to play with y'all. I did not come here to play. Load my stuff up. And I understand that the workers themselves are supposed to do it. I'm complaining about the company. At least at the time I was complaining. I mean, now the servings are pretty good. So my serving today was really good. So I'm happy about that. And I'm going to have that tomorrow and I'm very excited. And now I'm wondering if I'm going to actually play a video game tomorrow. I've been taking a little hiatus from that. I started to feel like vertigo last time I was on the computer playing. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. So it's been like a couple of days since I've played anything. But yeah, I'm just chilling, enjoying, just relaxing. Something that I would incorporate before I sign off for the night is, well, first off, thank you for being with me during these ramble sessions. I really appreciate it. It's nice to know that other people in the world are experiencing things that I'm experiencing. If anything that I say ever resonates with you, or you're like, ooh, girl, you'll never believe, and you want to share like work drama and stuff with me, please put it in the comments. I'm here for that. I'm here for all of that. Something that I would incorporate into my schedule, if I were you, if you've gotten this far, then I would love for you to comment let's do some type of fish. a seahorse. I don't know if there's a seahorse emoji, but if there's a seahorse emoji, put that in the comments. If there's an octopus emoji, put that in the comments. I love octopus and I love seahorses. And they're both so cute and I love them. But what I would incorporate is take some time to just sit before you go to sleep. Like, I'm one of those people to where if I'm not careful, I'll be on my phone right up until I fall asleep. So I've started journaling before I go to bed. And so if you're not journaling, get back on journaling. I've started journaling and I usually meditate and then I'll read something. So like inspirational some things or something positive to put my mind in a good space. Because I find that when I am in a good space before I go to sleep, my dreams tend to be really positive. Or I don't have dreams at all and then I wake up pretty chill. But the days where I'm just on my phone all the way up until I go to sleep and then I wake up and my mind is just zooming. And I know for some people they kind of can't help it, but I would say take some time before you go to bed, do some deep breathing, you know. And then something that's really fun that I've been doing is I've been reliving my day and then reliving the day in a way that I would do it as my inner child. Like in this adult body. Like, what's something that would have been really weird to do or maybe illegal that I could have done today? And I don't know, that role-playing type situation is really nice. But anyways, I love you guys. And this is such an interesting thing. I love this. I love this little moment that I have. Thank you to those of you who've been commenting. I see your comments and I appreciate them. I'm just trying not to get into the habit of liking comments all the time. Just because I'm the type of person to where if I start having like trouble keeping up with comments on things, it's kind of like when you get that burst of energy to text 10 people and you're like, I don't usually text anybody. Yes, I did it. And then suddenly everybody responds. You're like, oh no, I have to respond to everybody. Like that's how it feels. Like when I used to do singing videos, once the comments started rolling in and it was a lot of them, I started having trouble keeping up with them. So I was like, oh no. And now everybody else who comes after is going to think I hate them because I'm not liking their comment. But that's not the case. I appreciate any views. I appreciate likes. I appreciate shares. I appreciate links that you all leave in the comments. If there's anything that you are moved to say in the comments that's really helpful or supportive of somebody else, again, if you have any video games that you've played that you really like, that you recommend, please put them in the comments. Any EDM music that you like, that you would like to share with me, put it in the comments, because I'm a big EDM fan. Let's see what else. Yeah, anything interesting. If you have a special interest, put that in the comments. I love to read the comments, even though I don't like them. I like the comments, but I don't physically like them. I like to read them. So I love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing night, and there will be another video, I'm sure, unless I move to not do one, but I feel like I'll be doing these for a while. So mwah, love you all, sleep well, and I will talk to you later.